Fellow Australians, I grew up in a council house in Camperdown, the only son of a single mum on the disability pension. I stand before you tonight seeking the honour of serving as your Prime Minister. I'm here because of sacrifices my mum made to give me chances she was denied by disadvantage. I'll never forget that. I'm here tonight because good government changed my life. For me, and I know for so many people in similar circumstances, the policies and decisions of good government can make all the difference. A good government, building a strong economy and a fair society, opens the door to education, to employment, to decent housing, to proper health care and a better life. I lived that as a young man, and I saw it firsthand as Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Infrastructure, creating jobs, connecting up communities, boosting productivity in our cities and our regions. I understand the value and the power of good government, and I know our country needs and deserves a good government again. A government that believes in your potential, a Prime Minister who shares your values, a Labor government that's on your side. Mr. Speaker, Australians know that the last year has been unlike any other in our lifetimes. And when we look at the devastation and heartbreak still unfolding in parts of the world, it's only natural to feel that things could have been a lot worse here. Yet when I look at our country today, I also know we can do so much better. So much better than real wages declining over the next 4 years, after flatlining over the last 8 years. So much better than 3 more years of scandal and a government treating taxpayers' funds as if they are Liberal Party funds. So much better than 3 more years of announcements that are never delivered. And so much better than merely coming back rather than building back stronger. This budget offers a low growth, low productivity and low wage future, and $1 trillion of debt. Is that really the best we can aspire to? I want Australia to emerge from this crisis stronger, smarter and more self-reliant, with an economic recovery that works for all Australians. Throughout this pandemic, Australians have given up so much. Labor's plan is about rewarding and repaying the sacrifices that people have made. Tonight I will further outline Labor's alternative policy agenda, an agenda with 3 guiding principles that will drive Labor in government. 1, an economy that delivers for working families. 2, investing in Australia's future. And 3, no one held back and no one left behind. Yeah. These 3 principles will drive our plans and policies to secure a better future, improve living standards and promote fairness. We have a once-in-a-century opportunity to reinvent our economy, to lift wages and make sure they keep rising, to invest in advanced manufacturing and skills and training with public TAFE at its heart, to provide affordable childcare, to fix aged care, to address the housing crisis, to champion equality for women, and to emerge as a renewable energy superpower. Yeah. That's a better future that I want to build for Australia as Prime Minister. But Tuesday's budget didn't speak for this country's future. It only told the sorry tale of 8 years of Liberal neglect. 8 years of wasting opportunities and running from responsibility. 8 years of flat wages but rising costs. 8 years of ignoring problems and cutting funding from the solutions. 8 years of cushy jobs for Liberal mates but insecure work for ordinary Australians. 8 years of holding people back and leaving people behind. I measure the strength of our economy by how it works for people. So for me, there's a simple test by which we can judge the last 8 years. Do you feel better off than you did 8 years ago? Do you feel more secure at work? When did you last get a wage rise? Are you finding it easier to pay your bills? Are you more certain of your future and, importantly, that of your children? The past 8 years have been very good to the Prime Minister and his mates, but has it been good for you? Because after 8 years in power, this Prime Minister is getting ready to ask you for 3 more. When Robert Menzies founded the Liberal Party, he spoke about the forgotten people. This Liberal government just wants you to forget. Forget their failures, forget their broken promises, forget all their jobs for their mates. Make no mistake, the budget handed down on Tuesday night is not a plan for the next generation. It is a patch-up job for the next election. Remember that the centrepiece of last year's budget was JobMaker. That promised to create 450,000 new jobs. It fell short by 449,000. That's right, not 450,000, just 1,000. Missed by that much. Like so much with this government, it was all smirk and mirrors. This week, the chasm between announcement and delivery didn't even make it to budget night. Having told Monday's papers that the budget would provide $10 billion of additional infrastructure investment, the actual budget papers show a $3.3 billion cut to infrastructure over the next 4 years. A government that is all announcement, no delivery. See, for this Prime Minister, the announcement is all about him, always. The press conference, the photo op. But when it comes to the part that affects you, the delivery, he's lost interest. His only interest at that point is blaming someone else. When the black summer of bushfires raged, he said, memorably, "I don't hold a hose, mate." Now, with our tourism and education industries still locked away from the world, and with more than 30,000 Australians stranded overseas, he says quarantine is a matter for the states and getting the vaccine isn't a race. He puts out a press release threatening to put returning Australians in jail and then blames the media for reporting it. Locked out or locked up, a message no Australian government should send to our own citizens. Yeah. The Prime Minister's constant buck-passing and blame-shifting has become a handbrake on our economic recovery. The strength of our economic recovery is dependent on effective quarantine and vaccinations. But with more than a year to prepare, this government has bungled both.